Welcome. Thanks for joining me. So, yesterday, for those of you that caught my talk, we talked about empowering creators, the strategy, the playbook, the how-to, and doing UGC implementation right. Today, we're shifting focus to something more human, the culture that drives it all. Because the future of your games doesn't just live in your roadmap, it lives in your players. Passion projects become power, mods become engines, communities become legacies. That's what today is about. Here are some of the biggest hits today: Team Fortress 2, Dota 2, PUBG, DayZ, Black Mesa, The Forgotten City. Together, these games have launched entire genres, generated billions of dollars collectively, and are beloved by millions of players around the world. But here's the twist. None of them started out this way. Every single one of those massive hits began as a mod. Team Fortress started as a mod for Quake 1. Defense of the Ancients was just a Warcraft 3 custom map as a mod. DayZ and PlayerUnknown's Battle Royale came out of the Arma modding scene. Black Mesa was a Half-Life remake mod for Half-Life 2 built by fans. And The Forgotten City, that began life as a Skyrim mod, before going on to become a BAFTA nominee and indie darling it is today. What began as passion projects, unpaid, volunteer-driven, built with mod tooling available, went on to reshape the entire games industry. So mods in UGC aren't just content, they're culture. When we call them extra content, we sell them short, because mods are more than DLC made by fans. They're living communities. They're how players express identity, creativity, and passion. Mods and UGC are how players connect to games and to each other. And that's the thread I want to pull through today. UGC isn't just about what gets created, it's about the culture that forms around it. So before we dive deeper, quick bit about me. I've been fortunate enough to spend over a decade in the games industry, working with some incredible studios and teams, from Gameloft, where I was lucky to be the lead game designer on My Little Pony Magic Princess, to Mod.io, where I helped integrate UGC with titles like Baldur's Gate 3, Homeworld 3, and Dying Light 2 as a product owner, working with a very talented engineering team. I'm deeply grateful for these experiences and for the teams and communities I've been lucky enough to be a part of along the way. Outside of professional work, I've also been leading Tiberian Sun Rising, a long-running Command & Conquer Total Conversion mod. Just to be clear, Command & Conquer is fully owned by Electronic Arts. Tiberian Sun Rising is a fan project built in compliance with EA's franchise modding guidelines. And I want to acknowledge EA here because without their openness to modding, projects like mine wouldn't exist. Looking back, the projects I'm proudest of, My Little Pony Magic Princess, Tiberian Sun Rising, and my time at Mod.io, all share the same heartbeat that showed me that mods and UGC aren't just content, they're culture. And that's the lens I'm bringing into today's talk. So, like many UGC creators right now, I started young as a modder. Just a kid building levels at age 10 for games like Doom and Command & Conquer Red Alert for me and my friends to play at LAN parties. By 12, I was modding Tiberian Sun, and 16, I launched CNC Source, a fan hub for the Command & Conquer community that led me to start Tiberian Sun Rising in 2007, after CNC3 Tiberium Wars came out. An ambitious total conversion mod project that stayed with me ever since because of its sheer scope and the passion driving it. Along the way, I went pro, working at studios like Gameloft, and most recently in my prior role at Mod.io. But through it all, Tiberian Sun Rising has been my North Star, a reminder that persistence, passion, and community can carry a dream further than you'd ever imagine. Now I feel like I'm in the Return of the Jedi arc of my journey, bringing this adventure to a satisfying conclusion and giving back to the community that gave me so much growing up. So why do I care about creator culture? I care because I've lived both sides. I've been a modder for over 20 years, and I've been in the industry professionally for over 10. And I've seen how quickly creator work can be dismissed until suddenly it's undeniable. I've also seen the flip side, how empowering creators transforms people As an educator, I watched it change students' lives. At Mod.io, I saw it fuel games like Baldur's Gate 3, and saw the transformation in their community when modding went live. That's why this matters to me. I want the next generation of modders and UGC creators to have clearer, safer pathways into the industry, so their passion doesn't just survive, it thrives. So here's the lens I want us to use today. Mods and UGC aren't just content, they're culture. I've seen it across 20 years. Bridging grassroots modding with professional game development culture is what keeps games alive. It's what transforms small projects into legacies. Creators are innovators. From Command & Conquer mods to Roblox, Minecraft, Marketplace, and UEFN, they've always been the ones pushing boundaries and sustaining games long after the roadmap ends. And creators are allies. They're not just making content, they're the emotional lifeblood of your games. And they're also your future talent pipeline, but we need to keep them engaged for them to get there. So supporting creators and unlock not just retention, but true longevity, because culture is what makes games last. So yesterday in my talk on empowering creators, we touched on the mixed perceptions people have on modders, and a lot of things come to mind. Let's clear the air. Modders aren't hackers or thieves. They're creators. They build levels, items, even total conversion mods, sometimes even fixing bugs along the way and giving back to their communities. They are not free labor. They're fans and community leaders, motivated by love for the craft and the games they're building in. And they'll use whatever tools they can, official or community-made, out of ingenuity to bring their visions to life. Inside game dev culture, that's what we mean when we say modder, someone extending a game with new content, systems, or even entire experiences. So, let's talk about culture, because mods and UGC aren't just content. They're about community, identity, and belonging. When we talk about creator culture, we're talking about a space where players don't just consume games, they participate, they contribute, they keep worlds alive. This culture is the foundation for everything else we'll explore today. Why mods matter, why they last, and why they transform both players and the industry itself. So modding and UGC are both forms of participatory culture, spaces where fans don't just consume, they actively create. It shares the same DNA as fanfiction, cosplay, streaming and let's plays, game jams, even tabletop RPGs. In all of these, people aren't just passive players. They're contributing, remixing, and keeping the culture alive. Modders are the dungeon masters of our industry, keeping worlds alive and extending the story long after the developer's campaign is over. So we've seen how mods and UGC are part of participatory culture. Another way to think about it is a type of a digital makerspace, an online workshop. Instead of 3D printers and soldering irons, the tools are SDKs, editors, and dev kits. Studios like Epic and Valve have shipped Unreal and Source editors over the years, and Unity often ships APIs, and these pipelines don't just extend games, they teach real game dev skills. Modern equivalents like Roblox Studio and Unreal Editor for Fortnite are branded as creation platforms, but in practice, they're full game dev pipelines in disguise. Now, sometimes studios initiate this, which makes creators feel safe and supported, creating for the games. But in other cases, when modders build their own tools, it's because they're deeply engaged with the game in a very positive, constructive way. And that do-it-yourself spirit is what sustains the culture and what makes modding so powerful. Because sometimes, while your studios have whole teams of engineers, all it takes is one curious, driven modder to invent a new tool chain that fuels the next wave of innovation. So let's align on terminology very quickly. Modding is about creating or altering content for a game using developer or community-made tools. Mods are the results, new levels, skins, tweaks, even total conversions, and often shared on community mod hubs like ModDB, Nexus Mods, CurseForge, or anywhere else on the web. UGC is the umbrella term, but in practice today, it usually means studio-driven platforms like Roblox, UEFN, Minecraft Marketplace, or official integrations like Mod.io and Overwolf, which are integrating directly into games these days with mod support, and where creation is built into the ecosystem. The key point is all of these share the same DNA. It's all user-generated content, different forms, the same creative spirit. So UGC exists on a spectrum, from the simple to the complex. At the simple end, you've got cosmetic and visual content like skins, textures, meshes, shaders. Think Skyrim HD packs or custom CSGO skins. Next is content and worlds, new levels, maps, or full quests like Warcraft 3 custom maps or massive Skyrim mods like Falskar. Then systems and gameplay, balance changes, new mechanics, even total conversions, which are new game experiences. DayZ grew out of Arma 2, and XCOM 2 Long War refined strategy gameplay. Finally, tools and interfaces, the editors and plugins that enable more creation. Minecraft Forge, or another examples like Roblox Studio, and even Unreal Editor for Fortnite. The key point is this: UGC can be as small as a skin or as deep as a full modded server hub. What's possible depends on the game's systems, features, and tools available. So, at their core, both modders and UGC creators are motivated by passion, love for games, curiosity about how they work, and the drive to create. For modders, that passion often starts grassroots, tinkering with systems, fixing what feels missing, or chasing ambitious dream projects like total conversions. Community recognition and belonging are huge motivators here. For UGC creators, that same passion is shaped by platforms. They get lower barrier to entry, built-in audiences, and access to millions of players, and sometimes the opportunity to earn revenue. Turning a hobby into something sustainable. They can iterate quickly, collaborate easily, and gain recognition through marketplaces and spotlights. The truth is, these groups overlap. Some start as modders and move into UGC platforms. Others do the reverse. Both paths build skills, communities, and careers. Just like developers have countless reasons for making games, creators, which I speak to of both modders and UGC creators here, have countless reasons for why they create. So, the community is the foundation of creator culture. It is the soil everything grows from. It's where creators connect, form teams, share knowledge, and help each other grow. That sense of growing together is what powers creator culture, and it's what's kept me coming back to this space over the years. From that foundation, we see common branches across many communities. Extension, expanding worlds with more of what players love. Expression, identity, and creative freedom. Fidelity, chasing that the game it should have been feeling, refining and polishing with care. Experimentation, bending engines, pushing limits, surprising even the game developers that was possible in their engine. The true mad scientists of the modding world, I love them. And sustainability, emerging monetization that only thrives with industry support. Studios that nurture these branches see their communities thrive. Leave them untended too long, and they risk withering. And I want to pause to thank the community managers who make this growth possible every day. You've been amazing, and your hard work has been noticed in the modding communities you have helped build and tender to. So every moment, every adventure begins with a leap of faith. For me, and for an entire generation of creators, that leap started with Command & Conquer. Before Roblox, before UEFN, before platforms, this was where our journey began. It's where I learned everything that shaped me as a creator, and it set me on a transformative path that turned me into the professional game developer I am today. So let's see how far the rabbit hole really goes. So here we have the official legacy of Command & Conquer on PC, the combined work of Westwood Studios and Electronic Arts, spanning from 1995 to the last official release in 2020. These games are the foundation, the works that gave birth to an entire movement of creators and to the enduring, diverse, and powerful Command & Conquer community. For us, the golden age of RTS in the 90s never really ended. That fire has kept burning brightly in the community, fueled and sustained by its modding scene. So from 1995 to 2003, the Westwood era of Command & Conquer modding began. CNC starts the fire, releasing in 1995. Quickly followed by the prequel release, Red Alert, shipped with the first official level editor in '96, sparking a wave of fan map making online. With the community then following up with making its own map editor for the original CNC and an improved Red Alert level editor. Electronic Arts purchases Westwood in '98 for $122.5 million, but the real turning point came in 2000 when Olaf van der Spek's XCC utilities unlocked the game's mixed content files. This is where true CNC modding began. Soon after, the community built voxel editors, which defined the art pipeline for Tiberian Sun and Red Alert 2 modders. Then, the community map tools came for Tiberian Sun and Red Alert 2, created by Matthias Wagner, and Westwood themselves joined in with the Renegade level editor called GMEX with the release of Renegade in collaboration with Autodesk. And when Westwood was shut down in 2003 and Westwood Online servers went dark as a result, it was the community that kept things alive, even running replacement multiplayer servers that EA later adopted. So in this era, you see the DNA of modding culture, studios opening some doors, but fans constantly pushing them wider. It's almost like there's some sort of loop of mutual benefit forming here. Now we are in the EA era of CNC, from 2003 to today. 2003 kicks things off with the release of Command & Conquer Generals and its World Builder level editor. Then Olaf van der Spek strikes again, updating XCC utilities, unlocking the Generals big file content files, kicking off the next wave of modding for Generals, which was huge. Renegade started 3D modding, and that got a lot of modders upgraded onto the 3D pipelines that all pushed into CNC Generals modding. In 2007, CNC3 Tiberium Wars comes out with an official mod SDK. EA sees the modding scene and is like, okay, let's give this scene some powerful tools. And later Red Alert 3 gets the same treatment. This is when the period we call the rise of the mega mods starts to emerge. Mods like Mental Omega, Shockwave, CNC Reborn, and of course my own product, Tiberian Sun Rising, among many other amazing mods during this period. But after Red Alert 3 arrived with some mod tooling, and when CNC3 Kane's Wrath the expansion came out without mod tools, the community stepped up again. Jana Moon created Rafid. She effectively gave the expansion its own mod SDK, kicking off another creator wave. 2009 brings Open Red Alert, an open source engine that could run the game content files, so you had to own those, and of the classic CNC and Red Alert games, making them run properly on modern systems. This gave modders a whole new platform to continue modding these games from this era on modern machines. Command & Conquer 4 arrives in 2010, marking the end of the Tiberian saga of Command & Conquer, and followed up by the community project Renegade X in 2012, a reimagining of Command & Conquer Renegade, the FPS RTS hybrid, this long, lovingly created product in UDK, released to the community with EA's okay of the Renegade IP, as long as it was non-commercial, which it is. In 2020, a huge moment arrived. EA worked directly with veterans of the community on the CNC remasters of CNC and Red Alert, releasing the DLLs for CNC 1 and RA Red Alert under GPL, and that was a turning point for legitimacy and collaboration. Jim Fasella at EA led the way, and organizing for Petroglyph, which was a studio formed up of ex-Westwood developers, ensuring that, the original Westwood devs and the community was involved in these remasters, and the community council, those veteran community members that were lucky enough to be involved in this, were accredited for their work on the game. Recognizing the incredible efforts of the CNC community, the official franchise modding guidelines were finally established and published by EA at this period, outlining what was allowed and what wasn't. Finally turning what was previously kind of a gray space that was kind of like just a quiet thumbs up into a safer, defined space, empowering creators. Finally, in 2025, the open sourcing of 4 Command & Conquer titles, Generals, Renegade, Command & Conquer, Red Alert, which marks another historic leap. And it leads directly into the big community event that's been brewing, which we'll get into in a moment. So as we've seen here, every action fuels the fire of passion on both sides. Across this era, EA also hosted community summits, flying out gaming press, fansite runners, modders, and creators to EA LA or Gamescom. I was lucky enough to attend 2 of these, the CNC3 Summit in LA and the CNC4 Summit in Gamescom. A surreal dream come true moment. These were the first professional game developers I ever met. So this year marks the 30th anniversary of Command & Conquer, and the community has been celebrating it through all of September with daily showcases. Every day, a different mod team or product has taken the spotlight with streams, tournaments, gameplay reveals, or development spotlights, or like developer direct type events. What's powerful is this isn't EA. It's entirely community driven. Fans and creators coming together to organize weeks of events showing just how alive and professional the CNC community still is. One of the products invited was my own Tiberians and Rising. We did showcase on September 22nd. It's all on YouTube now, which I did before I came here at NZGDC. You can catch that and many more of these showcases on YouTube. All proof of scale, passion, and dedication to this incredible community. So here are a few highlights from the anniversary showcase. Mental Omega, a Yuri's Revenge mod that's been spanning over 15 years. It's considered its own expansion. Generals Evolution, bringing Generals into the Red Alert 3 engine. Tiberium Essence, a fan overhaul for Command & Conquer 3, adding new factions and a vision inspired by Tiberian Sun. And Twisted Insurrection, a complete reimagining of the original Tiberian Sun with all new visuals and content in this 1999 engine. CNC Renegade may have been a cult classic in 2002, but a whole new branch of CNC modding was birthed from it, focusing on FPS, RTS, total conversions. Here's 4 of them. CNC A Path Beyond, a Red Alert reimagined as a shooter, and CNC Reborn, Tiberian Sun, in FPS, RTS form. Both of those are mods for Renegade, and then the bottom 2 are special. In the case of Renegade X, a modern rebuild, hugely popular today, of Renegade in UDK, released for free for people to play, and Firestorm, their follow-up project by the same team called Totem Arts, bringing Tiberian Sun into modern tech with UDK as a shooter experience. Again, will be freely available, currently highly anticipated by the community. These are all total conversion projects, full game experiences built from the ground up. In the next section, we'll dive deeper on what total conversions really mean. But what began as a leap of faith in the 90s became a movement that never stopped. The official series may have paused in 2020, but for the community, the golden age never ended. The passion of developers lit the fire first, and this torch ignited the creativity of the community. From there, developers and creators kept passing the torch back and forth, each inspiring each other, pushing the series forward for decades. Fueled by modding, the fire of Command & Conquer still burns. And with the recent open sourcing of 4 CNC games, with GPL3 and non-commercial use limitations still, the fire is growing only stronger, and a whole wave of new community products have kicked off as a result. So let's talk about this subculture of total conversions. Not every mod becomes a legend. Most are small tweaks or cosmetics, and all valuable in their own right. But a rare few aim even higher. They rebuild worlds, reimagine entire games, and chase visions of scale, of full studios. These are the total conversions, the purest, most ambitious expression of modding as a craft. They take years, sometimes decades. They demand everything from their creators, and for those who walk this path, this is the way. So total conversions, as players would see it, are the AAA of modding. They don't just tweak a game, they reimagine it, sometimes rebuilding it from the ground up. They're about capturing the original missed, what the original missed, or creating what players have always dreamed of. And here's the thing, these aren't made by studios with budgets. They're built in people's spare time by volunteer teams scattered across the world, no funding, little to no support. Just passion, grit, and unshakable belief in the vision. The reality is tough. These projects can take years, even decades. Most collapse under the weight of their own ambition. But the few that endure, they can revive a franchise overnight, redefine a community, and leave a legacy which lasts for generations. It's high risk, high failure, but also the purest expression of what modding can achieve, proof of what people can build when all they have is free time, dedication, and a dream. Here's Skyblivion, one of the most ambitious Elder Scrolls total conversions. The team is rebuilding Oblivion inside Skyrim's engine and modern tools and fidelity. What's unique is Bethesda's supported this team with free copies of Oblivion Remastered and an invitation to their HQ, public endorsement, and didn't shut them down, which some studios may have, especially because Bethesda just did Oblivion Remastered. So it shows that both the scale of this passion and positive studio support helps creators thrive. Black Mesa began as a fan remake of Half-Life in the Source engine. Its quality stood out so much that Valve gave them a special license to release it commercially on Steam. After more than a decade of work, it went from community mod to full commercial game. A rare success story and the kind of outcome most modders dream of. Valve is very cool. Keep being cool, Valve. Okay, Fallout London is one of the most ambitious Fallout mods, essentially a full game inside Fallout 4's engine, shifting the series to post-apocalyptic Britain. What's remarkable is Bethesda's response. Instead of shutting it down, they hired talent directly from the project. It shows how total conversions aren't just passion projects, they can become pathways into professional industry at the AAA level. 17 years, that's how long Tiberians and Rising has been with me, my own total conversion project. It began as a solo mod that grew into a team daring to build a full total conversion, to reimagine Tiberian Sun as if we were starting from the beginning with a more modern engine. How would we shape its vision? The timeline has been greatly extended by the demands of my professional career, but the project has never stopped. And in that time, we've faced limits that would break most teams, technical ceilings, years of setbacks, the march of time, yet each obstacle taught us more than any classroom ever could, because we started this back when we were students. Adapting pipelines, mastering new tools, bending a 2007 engine to meet the future. People sometimes asked, why keep going? You can't sell it. But the goal was never money. The goal was discipline, grit, and pursuing mastery, to become the kind of people capable of realizing great dreams, and that's what this product has done. It didn't just transform a game, it transformed us. Proof that the right dream doesn't just endure, it carries you up mountains you could never climb without it. And to me, that's the transformative power of this project and why it's been worth the effort to me. So these projects don't survive on casual effort. They endure because of extraordinary leaders. Some entrust for skill, others for vision. It's the training ground for leaders, and they combine both the chops and the dream. At the heart of it is tireless dedication and a belief in building something bigger than themselves. It's that conviction that inspires others to join and why these projects endure. And climbing the mountain of total conversions, leaders aren't appointed. They're forged by necessity, by the sheer scope of the mountain ahead. So now we're going to shift gears and talk about modern UGC culture. So my journey began modding, but lately I've been exploring UEFN and others, and what stands out to me is just how much shared DNA there is. The same passion, creativity, and drive of modding communities is alive and at scaling phase now with these UGC platforms. So let's look at this. So Minecraft is unique because it supports two creator cultures simultaneously. Java Edition is the grassroots modding scene we've been talking about. Open, chaotic, hobby-driven, and it's all still considered the best experience by fans because of its incredible free mods. Bedrock Edition, under Microsoft, introduced the curated marketplace and cross-platform add-ons where top creators can sell content professionally. What's powerful is they both coexist. Free mods keep the cultural roots alive, while Marketplace enables creators to build sustainable careers once their skills have reached a professional level. Together, they show how modding and modern UGC can thrive side by side. UEFN is more than user-generated content. It's a cultural ecosystem. Creators share space with Popstar concerts, Lego Fortnite, Rocket Racing, and Battle Royale itself. Epic's vision is clear. This isn't just about making maps. It's about being part of the cultural landscape. With Fortnite's massive reach and Epic's modding tools, UEFN feels like a real step towards that metaverse dream that everyone's chasing. Roblox is fascinating because it isn't just a game, it's a platform of cultures. Anyone can build on Roblox, and that's created a hyper-commercialized ecosystem where kids are learning game dev as a career path, and whole studios are forming within Roblox itself. What makes Roblox unique is its shared identity. The players and creators define the experiences, not just extend the base game platform. Its culture is a mix of grassroots creativity and entrepreneurship, normalizing the idea of making games socially, and that's the key. Roblox represents culture, not just content. So legacy is memory, action is impact, and what you build today becomes tomorrow's legacy. The legacy of UGC isn't what came before, it's what you choose to build next. Every tool you ship is an invitation. What kind of creators will you empower? So as we saw earlier with the Command & Conquer community, over time, endured because of this cycle of mutual benefit. Here I call it the loop of mutual benefit. If you know the flywheel effect, the growth that compounds over time, user-generated content, once you add that to your game becomes a flywheel. and it gets compounding growth over time. It does take a while for it to pick up, but empower creators with tools, docs, support, and even training, and they'll create content that engages players. Some of those players become creators themselves, and the cycle keeps accelerating. It's not fast, it's a long-term strategy, but with responsible monetization, strong support, and empowered creators, this flywheel doesn't just sustain your game, it can amplify it, and could even speed things up. And when creators can build livelihoods around your ecosystem, that's when the true power of UGC will finally emerge, and we're seeing it with the ones that do have active monetization. We've only just scratched the surface of what's possible. The future is bright, and it's built together. So creators, watch studios very carefully when modding or UGC support is introduced. The key question is, can they trust you? Will their work be safe or shut down? Could it lead to a future, or is it all too vague? Studios that embraced modders gained loyal champions and extended the life of their games. Those that shut it down certainly had their reasons. Maybe it just wasn't compatible with their business model. But what matters most is clarity. If you don't want a modding scene, maybe just say so. If you do, respect and transparency are everything. Treat creators as partners, and they'll reward you with trust, loyalty, and long-term value. And if you give them sustainability, take it to the next level. Studios like id Software, Bethesda, Epic, Valve, EA, and Westwood proved that empowering creators builds legacies that last decades. Westwood may be gone, but its community still thrives on today in the Command & Conquer community that it helped build. The lesson is simple: invest in tools, treat creators as partners, and respect the relationship. With platforms like Mod.io, Overwolf, and Steam Workshop, supporting creators has never been easier. So these are some of the most iconic and successful games across genres and generations, but the one thing they all share isn't just great gameplay, or strong IP. It's something deeper. It's the fact that they've all been shaped, extended, and kept alive by their communities. There's a hidden engine behind their longevity and cultural impact. And that engine is thriving creator communities. Every one of these games owes a huge part of its success to mods or UGC, from Skyrim and Minecraft to GTA, The Sims, even Baldur's Gate to some extent, and even modern platforms like Roblox and Fortnite. It's the creativity of players that transforms these games into living ecosystems. That's the common thread. Players aren't just consumers, they're creators. And when you give them the tools, they'll carry your game further than you ever imagined. Empowered creators don't just extend your games, they make them timeless. So thank you so much for attending my talk. And for those of you that attended my session, or all my sessions, bravo, that's some real dedication. Here are some resources related to today's talk that I think you might find useful. Note, I am open to consulting and collaborations. Also, there's a ton of amazing research in UGC and creator communities that I'm happy to share if anyone's interested. Just come and talk to me about it if you want links to that stuff. I will take questions now. There's no time? Really? Okay. Thank you.